Numbers 8. Aaron set up the lamps. The Lord said to Moses, "Say to Aaron, set up the 7 lamps. They will light up the area in front of the lampstand." So Aaron did it. He set up the lamps so that they faced forward on the lampstand. He did just as the Lord had commanded Moses. The lampstand was made out of hammered gold. From its base to its plumes, it was made out of hammered gold. The lampstand was made exactly like the pattern the Lord had shown Moses. Moses set apart the Levites. The Lord spoke to Moses. He said, "Take the Levites from among all the Israelites. Make them clean in the usual way. Here is how to make them pure. Sprinkle the special water on them. Then have them shave their whole bodies. Also have them wash their clothes. That is how they will make themselves pure. Have them get a young bull along with each grain offering. The offering must be made out of the finest flour mixed with olive oil. Then you must get a second young bull. You must sacrifice it as a sin offering. Bring the Levites to the front of the tent of meeting. Gather the whole community of Israel together. You must bring the Levites to me. The Israelites must place their hands on them. Aaron must bring the Levites to me. They are the wave offering from the Israelites. That is how they will be set apart to do my work. Then I want the Levites to place their hands on the head of the bulls. They must sacrifice 1 bull as a sin offering to me, and they must sacrifice the other as a burnt offering. The blood of the bulls will pay for the sin of the Levites. Have the Levites stand in front of Aaron and his sons. Then give them as a wave offering to me. That is how I want you to set apart the Levites from the other Israelites. The Levites will belong to me. Make the Levites pure. Give them to me as a wave offering. Then they must come to do their work at the tent of meeting. They are the Israelites who will be given to me completely. I have taken them to be my own. I was taken them in place of every son born first in his family in Israel. Every male born first in Israel belongs to me. That is true whether it is a human or an animal. In Egypt, I struck down all the males born first to the mothers. Then I set apart for myself all the males born first in Israel. And I have taken the Levites in place of all the sons born first in Israel. I have given the Levites as gifts to Aaron and his sons. I have taken them from among all the Israelites. I have appointed them to do the work at the tent of meeting. They will do it in place of the Israelites. That is how they will keep the Israelites from being guilty when they go near the sacred tent. Then no plague will strike the Israelites when they go near the tent. So Moses and Aaron and all the Israelites did with Levites just as the Lord had commanded Moses. The Levites made themselves pure. They washed their clothes. Then Aaron gave them to the Lord as a wave offering. That's how he paid for their sin to make them pure. After that, the Levites came to do their work at the tent of meeting. They worked under the direction of Aaron and his sons, and so Moses and Aaron and the whole community of Israel did with the Levites just as the Lord had commanded Moses. The Lord said to Moses, "Here is what the Levites must do. Men 25 years old or more must come and take part in the work at the tent of meeting. But when they reach the age of 50, they must not work any longer. They must stop doing their regular work. They can help their brothers with their duties at the tent of meeting, but they themselves should not do the work. That is how you must direct the Levites to do their work." Numbers 9. Israel celebrates the Passover feast. The Lord spoke to Moses in the desert of Sinai. It was the first month of the second year after the people came out of Egypt. He said, "Tell the Israelites to celebrate the Passover feast. Have them do it at the appointed time. Celebrate it when the sun goes down on the 14th day of this month. Obey all its rules and laws." So Moses told the Israelites to celebrate the Passover feast. They did it in the desert of Sinai. They celebrated it when the sun went down on the 14th day of the first month. The Israelites did everything just as the Lord had commanded Moses. But some of them couldn't celebrate the Passover feast on that day. That's because they weren't clean. They had gone near a dead body. So they came to Moses and Aaron that same day. They said to Moses, "We went near a dead body, so we aren't clean. But why should we be kept from bringing the Lord's offering at the appointed time? Why shouldn't we bring it along with the other Israelites?" Moses answered them, "Wait until I find out what the Lord wants you to do." Then the Lord spoke to Moses. He said, "Tell the Israelites, suppose any of you or your children are unclean because they have gone near a dead body, or suppose they are away on a journey, they must still celebrate the Lord's Passover. They must celebrate it on the 14th day of the second month. They must do so when the sun goes down. They must eat the lamb together with bread made without yeast. They must eat it with bitter plant. They must not leave any of it until morning. They must not break any of its bones. When they celebrate the Passover feast, they must follow all the laws. But suppose someone is clean and not on a journey, and they fail to celebrate the Passover feast, then they must be separated from the community of Israel. They did not bring the Lord's offering at the appointed time. They will be punished for their sin. What if there is an outsider living among you? And what if they want to celebrate the Lord's Passover? Then they must obey its rules and laws. You must have the same laws for outsiders as you do for the Israelites. The cloud covers the holy tent. The holy tent was upset. It was the tent where the tablets of the covenant law were kept. On the day it was set up, the cloud covered it. From evening until morning, the cloud above tent looked like fire. That's what continued to happen. The cloud covered the tent. At night, the cloud looked like fire. When the cloud lifted from its place above the tent, the Israelites started out. Where the cloud settled, the Israelites camped. When the Lord gave the command, the Israelites started out. And when He gave the command, they camped. As long as the cloud stayed above the holy tent, they remained in camp. Sometimes the cloud remained above the tent for a long time. Then the Israelites obeyed the Lord's order. They didn't start out. Sometimes the cloud was above the tent for only a few days. When the Lord gave a command, they would camp. When He would give the command, they would start out. Sometimes the cloud stayed only for evening until morning. When it lifted in the morning, they started out. It didn't matter whether it was a day or night. When the cloud lifted, the people started out. It didn't matter whether the cloud stayed above the holy tent for 2 days or a month or a year. The Israelites would remain in camp. They wouldn't start out. But when the cloud lifted, they would start out. When the Lord gave the command, they camped. And when He gave the command, they started out. They obeyed the Lord's order. They obeyed Him just as He had commanded them through Moses. Numbers 10. The silver trumpets. The Lord said to Moses, "Make 2 trumpets out of hammered silver. Blow them when you want the community to gather together, and blow them when you want camp to start out. When both trumpets are blown, a whole community must gather in front of you. They must come to the entrance to tent of meeting. Suppose only one trumpet is blown, then the leaders must gather in front of you. They are the head of the tribes of Israel. When a trumpet blast is blown, the tribes camped on the east side must start out. When the second blast is blown, the camps on the south side must start out. The blast will tell them when to start. Blow the trumpets to gather the people together, but do not use the same kind of blast. The sons of Aaron, the priest, must blow the trumpet. There is a law for you and your children after you for all time to come. Suppose you go into battle in your own land, and suppose it is against an enemy who has treated you badly. Then blows the blast on the trumpet. If you do, I will remember you. I will save you from your enemies. I am the Lord your God. You must also blow the trumpets when you are happy. Blow them and your pointed fist. Blow them and your new moon fist. Blow them when you sacrifice your burnt offerings. Blow them when you sacrifice your French offerings. They will remind me of you. I am the Lord your God. The Israelites left the Sinai desert. It was the 20th days of the second month of the second year. On that day, the cloud began to move. It went from above the holy tent when the tablet of covenant law were kept. Then the Israelites started out from the desert of Sinai. They traveled from place to place. They kept going until the cloud came to rest in the desert of Paran. The first time they started out, the Lord commanded Moses to tell them to do, and they did it. The group of camp of Judah went first. They marched out under their flag. Nashon was their commander. He was the son of Aminadab. Nathaniel was over the group of the tribe of Issachar. Nathaniel was the son of Judah. Eliab was over the group of tribe of Zebulun. Eliab was the son of Hebron. The holy tent was taken down. The men of Gerson and Merari started out. They carried the tent. The group of camp of Reuben went next. They marched out under the flag. Elijah was their commander. He was the son of Shediel. Shelumiel was over the group of the tribe of Simeon. Shelumiel was the son of Jerishadai. Elisha was over the group of the tribe of Gad. Eliasaph was the son of Duel. The men of Kohath started out. They carried the holy things. The holy tent had to be set up before they arrived. The groups of camp of Ephraim went next. They marched out under their flag. Elishama was their commander. He was the son of Ammihud. Gamaliel was over the group of the tribe of Manasseh. Gamaliel was the son of Pedaju. Abidan was over the group of tribe of Benjamin. Abidan was the son of Gideoni. Finally, the group of camp of Dan started out. They marched out under their flag. They followed behind all the other groups and guarded them. Ashijah was their commander. He was the son of Ammishaddai. Pagiel was over the group of the tribe of Asher. Pagiel was the son of Akran. Ahira was over the group of the tribe of Naphtali. Ahira was the son of Enan. As the groups of Israel started out, that was the order they marched in. Moses spoke to Hobab, the son of Reuel. Reuel was Moses' father-in-law. Reuel was from Midian. Moses said to Hobab, "We are starting out for the place the Lord promised to us. He said to us, I'll give it to you, so come with us. We'll treat you well. The Lord has promised to give good things to Israel." Hobab answered, "No, I can't go. I'm going back to my own land." I'm returning to my own people." But Moses said, "Please don't leave us. You know where we should camp in the desert. You can be our guide. So come with us. So Lord will give us good things. We'll share them with you." So they started out from the mountain of the Lord. They traveled for 3 days. The ark of the covenant of the Lord went in front of them. During those 3 days, it went ahead of them to find a place for them to rest. They started out from the camp by day, and the cloud of the Lord was above them. When the ark started out, Moses said, "Lord, rise up, let your enemies be scattered, let them run away from you." When the ark stopped, Moses said, "Lord, return to the many thousands of people in Israel." Then verse 11, the Lord sends fire among the people. The people weren't happy about the hard times they were having. The Lord heard what they were saying. It made him very angry. Then the Lord sent fire on them. It blazed out among the people. It burned up some of the outer edges of the camp. The people cried out to Moses. Then he prayed to the Lord, and the fire died down. So the place was named Taberah. That's because fire from the Lord had blazed out among them there. The Lord sends quails for the people to eat. Some people with them began to wish their other food. Again the Israelites began to cry out. They said, "We wish we had meat to eat. We remember the fish we ate in Egypt. It didn't cost us anything. We also remember the cucumbers, melons, leeks, onions, and garlic. But now we've lost all interest in eating. We never see anything but this manna." The manna was like coriander seed. It looked like a sap from a tree. The people went around gathering it. Then they grew it up in a small meal they held in their hands, or they crushed it in the stone bowl. They cooked it in a pot, or they made loaves out of it. It tasted like something made with olive oil. When the dew came down on the camp at night, the manna also came down. Moses heard people from every family crying at the entrance to their tent. The Lord became very angry, so Moses became upset. He asked the Lord, "Why have you brought this trouble on me? Why aren't you pleased with me? Why have you loaded me down with the troubles of all these people? Am I like a mother to them? Are they my children? Why do you tell me to carry them in my arms? Do I have to carry them the way a nurse carries a baby? Do I have to carry them to the land you promised? You promised the land to their people long ago. Where can I get meat for all these people?" They keep crying out to me. They said, "Give us meat to eat." I can't carry all these people by myself. The Lord is too heavy for me. Is this how you're going to treat me? If you're pleased with me, just put me to death right now. Don't let me live if I have to see myself destroyed away. Anyway, the Lord said to Moses, "Bring me 70 of Israel's elders. Bring men that you know are elders and officers among the people. And then come to the tent of meeting. I want them to stand there with you. I will come down and speak with you there. I will take some of the power of the Spirit that is on you, and I'll put it on them. They will share the responsibility of these people with you. Then you will not have to carry it alone. Tell the people, send yourselves apart for tomorrow. At the time you will eat meat." The Lord heard you when you cried out. You said, "We wish we had meat to eat. We were better off in Egypt." Now the Lord will give you meat, and you will eat it. You will not eat for just 1 or 2 days. You will not eat it for just 5, 10, or 20 days. Instead, you will eat it for a whole month. You will eat it until it comes out of your noses. You will eat it until you hate it. The Lord is among you, but you have turned your back on him. You have cried out while he was listening. You have said, "Why did we ever leave Egypt?" But Moses said to the Lord, "Here am I among 600,000 men on the march, and you say, I'll give them meat to eat for a whole month. Would they have enough if flocks and herd were killed for them? Would they have enough even if all the fishes in the ocean were caught for them?" The Lord answered Moses, "Am I not strong enough? Now you will see whether what I say will come true for you." So Moses went out. He told the people what the Lord said to say. He gathered 70 of their elders together. He had them stand around the tent of meeting. Then the Lord came down in the cloud. He spoke with Moses. He took some of the power of the Spirit that was on Moses, and he put it on the 70 elders. When the Spirit came on them, they prophesied, but they didn't do it again. 2 men had remained in the camp. Their names were Eldad and Medad. They were listed among the elders, but they didn't go out to the tent of meeting. In spite of them, the Spirit came on them too. So they prophesied in the camp. A young man ran up to Moses. He said, "Eldad and Medad are prophesying in the camp." Joshua spoke up. He was the son of Nun. Joshua had been Moses' helper from the time he was young. He said, Moses, please stop them. But Moses replied, Are you jealous for me? I wish that all the Lord people were prophets, and I wish that the Lord would put his spirit on them. Then Moses and the elders of Israel returned to the camp. The Lord sent out a wild. I drove quails in from the Red Sea. It scattered them all around the camp. They were about 3 feet above the ground. They could be seen in every direction, as far as a person could walk in a day. The people went out all day and gathered quail. They gathered them all night and all the next day. No one gathered less than 60 bushels. Then they spread the quail out all around the camp. But while the meat was still in their mouths, the Lord acted. The people could swallow it. He became very angry with them. He struck them with a terrible plague. So the place was named Kibroth Hattava. That's where the bodies of people who had wished for other food were buried. For Kibroth Hattava, the people traveled to Hazeroth, and they stayed there. Miriam and Aaron speak against Moses. Miriam and Aaron began to say bad things about Moses. That's because Moses had married a woman from Cush. Has the Lord spoken only through Moses? They asked, Haven't he also spoken through us? The Lord heard of what they said. Moses was a very humble man. In fact, he was more humble than anyone else on the face of the earth. The Lord spoke to Moses, Aaron, and Miriam. He said, All three of you come out to the tent of meeting. So they did. Then the Lord came down in a pillar of cloud. He stood at the entrance to the tent, and he told Aaron and Miriam to come to him. The two of them stepped forward. Then the Lord said, Listen to my word. Suppose there is a prophet among you. I, the Lord, make myself known to them in visions. I speak to them in dreams. But this is not true of my servant Moses. He is faithful in everything he does in my house. With Moses I speak face to face. I speak with him clearly. I don't speak in riddles. I let him see something of what I look like. So why were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? The Lord was very angry with them, and he left them. When the cloud went up from above the tent, there stood Miriam. She had a disease that made her skin as white as snow. Aaron turned toward her. He saw that she had a skin disease. So he said to Moses, We have committed a very foolish sin. Please don't hold it against us. Don't let Miriam be like a baby that was born dead. Don't let her look like a dead baby whose body is half eaten away. So Moses cried out to the Lord. He said, Please, God, hear her. The Lord answered Moses. He said, Suppose her father has spit in her face, then she would have been put to shame for 7 days. So keep her outside the camp for 7 days. After that, you can bring her back. So Miriam was kept outside the camp for 7 days. The people didn't move on until she was brought back. After that, the people left Hazaras. They camped in the desert of Paran. Numbers 13. 12 men check out the land of Canaan. The Lord said to Moses, Send some men to check out the land of Canaan. I am giving it to the Israelites. Send one leader from each of Israel's tribes. So Moses sent them out from the desert of Paran. He sent them as the Lord had commanded. All of them were leaders of the Israelites. Here are their names. There are Shammua from the tribe of Reuben. Shammua was son of Jakar. There was a Shaphat from the tribe of Simon. Shaphat was the son of Hori. There was a Caleb from the tribe of Judah. Caleb was the son of Jephunneh. There was a Egar from the tribe of Issachar. Egar was son of Joseph. There was a Hoshea from the tribe of Ephraim. Hoshea was the son of Nun. There was a Parti from the tribe of Benjamin. Parti was the son of Raphu. There was a Gadiel from the tribe of Zebulun. Gavir was son of Sodi. There was a Gadi from the tribe of Manasseh. Gadi was the son of Susi. Manasseh was the tribe of Joseph. There was a Amiel from the tribe of Dan. Amiel was the son of Gamari. There was a Setar from the tribe of Asher. Setar was the born of Mikael. There was the Nabi from the tribe of Naphtali. Nabi was the son of Vosh. There was a Guel from the tribe of Gad. Guel was the son of Maki. Those are the men Moses sent to check out the land. They gave the name Joshua to Hoshea, the son of Nun. Moses sent the 12 men to check out the Canaan. He said, Go up through the Negev desert, go on into the central hill country, see what the land is like. See whether the people who live there are strong or weak. See whether they are few or many. What kind of land do they live in? Is it good or bad? What kind of towns do they live in? Do the towns have high walls around them or not? How is the soil? Is it rich land or poor land? Are there trees in it or not? Do your best to bring back some of the fruit of the land. It was the season for the first ripe grapes. So the men went up and checked out the land. They went from the desert of Zin as far as Rehob. It was in the direction of Hamath. They went up through the Negev desert and came to Hebron. That's where Ahiman, Sheshai, and Talmai lived. They belonged to the family line of Anak. Hebron had been built 7 years before Joan. Joan was a city in Egypt. The men came to the valley of Eshcol. There they cut off a branch that had a single bunch of grapes on it. 2 of them carried it on a pole between them. They carried some pomegranate and figs along with it. The place was called the Valley of Eshcol. That's because the men of Israel cut off the bunch of grapes there. At the end of 40 days, the men returned from checking out the land. The men report on what they found. The men came back to Moses, Aaron, and the whole community of Israel. The people were at Kodesh in the desert of Paran. There the men reported to Moses and Aaron and all the people. They showed them the fruit of the land. They gave Moses their report. They said, "We went into the land you sent us to. It really does have plenty of milk and honey. Here's some fruit from the land. But the people who live there are powerful. Their cities have high walls around them and are very large. We even saw members of the family line of Anak there. The Anakites lived in the Negev desert. The Hittites, Jebusites, and Amorites live in the central hill country. The Canaanites lived near the Mediterranean Sea. They also live along the Jordan River." Then Caleb interrupted the man speaking to Moses. He said, "We should go up and take the land. We can certainly do it." But the man who had gone up with him spoke. They said, "We can't attack those people. They are stronger than we are." The men spread a bad report around the land among the Israelites. They said, "The land we checked out destroyed those who live in it. All the people we saw there are very big and tall. We saw the Nephilim there. We seem like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and there's also how we seem to them." The family line of Anak came from the Nephilim.